Alright, here's another video to help you install your wind scoop, and I'm going to walk you through two different setups. You got the flagpole setup, which is what you see right here in front of you, and then you got the clothesline setup, which I don't have installed yet, and I'm going to walk you through that here in a minute. And the flagpole setup's mostly used for power boats because they don't have the height requirement to mount a clothesline from 2 points from point A to point B, so the only other option is with the flagpole. So we'll go ahead and take this down for now, and we'll come back to this here in a minute. And inside the kit, inside all the kits, you'll have 3 strings. The longer one, the longer string, your clothesline, 2 short ones, and then you'll have 2 of these little eye screws, and then some simple mounting instructions. And I want to make a video because the mounting instructions really aren't the best, so this will make it much easier for you to put up your wind scoop. And the newer kits, I started getting these little loops right here preset and ready to go for you. So you just slide in your other end of your longer clothesline through there, and then just cinches on, and it holds the shape like that. Basically, all that is for the older kits that I didn't have this. You just put your fingers through the loop, roll it back, and then just tie a piece of string around these 2 points, and then it'll hold the shape for you. So that's pretty much all that is. And we'll go ahead and get you started. So go ahead and take one of your short lines, wrap around your mast, feed one line through the loop, and just let it hang there for now. And for boats that have the cable in the front, this is how you would do this right here, is just wrap around the back right here, and again, one line through the loop, and feed out your excess, and that will be your anchor point for the front of your boat if you have the cable on there. And what you want to do too is whenever you get your front line and your back line attached, you want to try to get as level as possible. So it just makes your adjustments and all that much easier that way. And if your boat has a roller furler on it, which is what my boat has, I like to install mine on the eye grommet. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit, so hopefully it's not getting too loud on the video. So just do the same exact thing, just feed it through there and then feed one line to the other, and just let that hang there for now. We'll go ahead and get the longer line, clothesline, and we'll go ahead and hook up the front first. And as you see, it's much easier just to, with that little loop right here modified, it just makes it much easier to slide on. It's not really a whole lot of trying to figure all that out. So again, how you would do that with this one is, with the older kits, put your fingers through there, roll it back until you have 2 smaller circles, or smaller loops, and feed your line through there. And then you don't want to cinch it down too tight, because this is how you're gonna tighten your line. So pretty much just feed out your excess right here, and then just grab like a little bitty handful right here and just give it a quick jerk, and just like that you tighten the line just from that quick jerk. And just take your excess, wrap around the back, and then secure it. And you will have a lot of excess because I make these 10 feet long, so just cut, or leave yourself about 1 foot and then cut off the rest, and save that other excess string because you'll need that for something else. I'll show you here in a minute. And kind of the trick with the roller furlers is, if you made this longer line a little bit too short, just let out your sail about 1 foot, hook up all 3 of your lines, and just reel in your sail, and then it'll tighten automatically. So it's much easier to set up and take down if you use the roller furler. If you attach it to your eye grommet and use a roller furler sail to, tighten up your line for you. But either way, it works just as good. So it's really nothing to that. And go ahead and open up your hatch. Hatch got a little snag there. And why I said to keep that excess line is because you could use it for your lid right here, because this little arm that originally is on all the hatches, you're going to have to disconnect that because you need the hatch lid to open further up so the scoop doesn't rub against it. And I like to use that excess string right here just to tie it on here, just to keep the lid from going too far back, because when the wind blows really hard, it's going to be pushing really hard against this lid, and it could damage your little hinge mounts right there. And so it's just better just to have something to keep it from going too far back. And again, inside the kit, you have these 2 little eye screws. Depending how wide your hatch opens up, your hatch opening is. You could mount it right here, about an inch below your lip, and me personally, I like to actually mount them on the deck, kind of like right where this pole socket is, about 6 or 7 inches forward, because I like to keep the trailing edge of the fabric like towards the middle of the hatch opening, because whenever it's leaned back, whenever the wind hits the scoop, it goes straight down. So if it's towards the middle and leaning back, it'll go straight down right where actually I'm sleeping at. So if I use this attachment point right here and the scoop's further back, it's going to hit the scoop and then go towards the back of the boat. So it just depends on where you want the wind to funnel through your boat. So me personally, I like to try to keep the scoop as far forward as possible, so I get most of the wind right where I'm sleeping at. And we'll go ahead and take out your wind scoop. And inside the kits, they come in this little bag right here. Nothing fancy, just something to store away the wing. So go ahead and take it out. Shove that under the solar panel for now, the little bag. Whenever you unreel your kite right here, you'll see that both of these bolt snaps are connected to the middle trailing edge. That's just for storage, so go ahead and unclip it. And the exposed wooden dowel, this is your trailing edge, and the one with the 2 bridle lines right here, this right here is your leading edge. And whenever you install this, try to keep the webbing part right here towards the back, because this is where all your reinforcements are right here. And it'll make your scoop last a lot longer. So we'll go ahead and hook up your kite to that little sliding loop. And for starting out, just try to get it straight up and down from the front part of your hatch opening. And before you hook up the trailing edge, look at the ends right here. These ends are all twisted up like that. Just spin your dowel and get the twist out, because these wind scoops are pretty much like a kite, so balance is everything, because they're basically kind of flying right above your hatch opening. That's how they shift and everything else and follow the wind. So if everything's ready to go and you hook up your scoop, take this sliding line right here, the sliding loop, and slide it back a little bit and get your scoop to lean back. And first thing you want to do is look for your clearance, make sure that the scoop's not rubbing against anything. And if it is, then just raise up that line on the mast, raise it up a couple inches and get your clearance. And another reason why I say to make the scoop lean back is it makes it more stable. So the wind's picking up pretty good, so I can show you what it'll do if you have it too far forward. Have it too far forward, the scoop will start doing that, it'll start flipping on you. So if this thing starts flipping on you, that's the reason why. So the way to correct it, slide it back, and you're good to go after that. You can see I can improve performance just from sliding that little sliding loop further back. And there is a wind limit on these. The wind's actually picked up to about 15, and I wouldn't suggest flying them in more than this, because there's a lot of strain on this little 1/2-inch wooden dowel. So the fabric and all that can take stronger wind, but just the wooden dowel, it could snap right here in the middle. And if it does, these things are cheap. They're only like $1 to pick up at Home Depot. And you could actually beef them up to like a 5/8 wooden dowel, and then they would be able to handle a lot more wind. But I would just say, if the wind's over 15, even up to 20, then you might as well not even use these, because then your hatch would work just fine, because you'll have enough wind pressure funneling into your boat that way. These are mostly made for lighter wind days. And as you see, they work pretty good. They constantly adjust, and no matter which way the wind's blowing, it'll swing and catch the wind at straight downwind, so you're getting the maximum amount of breeze funneling into your boat. As you see, it's doing right now. So it's constantly adjusting and constantly funneling in wind right now inside the cabin. So we'll go ahead and take this one right here down, and then I'll show you how to set up the flagpole mount, or the flagpole setup. And to store these away, do the same exact thing. Take both your bolt snaps, clip them on that middle trailing edge part, that little webbing loop right here. Clip both of your bolt snaps onto that. There it goes. Then join the leading edge and the trailing edge dowel. Put them both together. This wind's really picking up. So take your excess, hold it in the middle. It's kind of a crappy way to do it because the wind's kind of blowing it everywhere. So just reel it up really tight from the middle and slide in your bag, and then you're all done. So as you see, these are pretty easy to set up and take down. There's really nothing to it. Much easier than all my competitors' scoops. So I like them. They work out really great. All right. Yeah, wind's really cranking now, so I'm almost hesitant to put the other one up, but we'll still try it. Right now the wind's picking up to, I don't know, probably about 15 to 18 right now, so it's a little bit too much, but you know, I have flown these up to 20 mile an hour wind, so I know it can handle it. All right, so for power boats, there is two things you're gonna have to buy, and it's gonna be the flagpole, and you're gonna also need one of these little flag sockets. And you can pick these little 7/8 flagpoles up at Home Depot, and they look just like this. You know, just a simple little flagpole. I think they're around $8 or something like that. They're pretty cheap. And the pole sockets, you can get these for I think they're about $20 or so. I just had an extra one on my boat that I used. And you want to make sure you get one with a little bit of a tilt in there, and mine's at about a 65-degree angle, because again, you want the scoop to lean back. So, you know, if it's leaning back, like whenever the wind hits this, it's funneling straight down. So if it's leaned back like that, it's going to hit the scoop and, you know, pretty much go the same direction that it's pointing towards. And another thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to shave down the end right here of the wooden dowel just a little bit, like a 30-second off it, because it's not going to fit into that flagpole socket because it's just a little bit too big. And you don't want to fly these in the rain, because that wood gets wet, it'll swell up, and it just gets much harder to take out of that flagpole socket. So always fly it, you know, not in the rain. And another thing, you're going to have to cut the flagpole, and mine's at 44 inches, so 44 inches is like the minimum you can use it at, but I think really, as you can see, it needs to be just a little bit taller, so mine's just a little bit too short. So if this is around 50 inches, then it would work even better. So basically, just whenever you hook up the eye screw in the bottom of your dowel right here, go ahead and hook that up, and then you can just hold this up to your flagpole, and then figure out where you need to mark it and cut it at. So me, I'm about 3 or 4 inches too short, but it still works just fine. I just like to keep a little bit tighter. Whoop. Pulled up a little bit too hard on that. I just like to keep these webbing edges right here a little bit tighter, because it just holds the shape better that way. And a lot of people, you know, right now the flagpole flew out of the socket just because I pulled up, you know, on it by myself. But people wonder if this thing's going to fly out of the socket, and I've never had one actually come out of the socket, you know, while it's in flight, even up to a 20 mile an hour wind. So, you know, I haven't had an incident. It's usually the only way it comes out is if I personally take it out. But you could, there is like little set screws on these things right here, and if you wanted to, you could use these little set screws in the pole sockets to hold it down. And that's pretty much it. The flagpole setup is really the easiest way to do it. And like, it's kind of good about the flagpole setups. Like, if you're like me and kind of lazy, you can install these just from the inside of your boat. Like, you don't have to get up on your deck to install anything. And like me, I just poke my little head out through the hatch opening, and, you know, slide this through the hatch, and then just plug it in, and then I'm done. So it's really easy to set up and take down that way. Yeah, the wind's really cranking right now, but, you know, I guess it's kind of good because you'll see how they perform. So it's definitely a solid 15 right now. It's starting to white cap a little bit. And the reason why I started making these and selling them is because you know, I live on my sailboat, and it's really hard to constantly monitor the wind. And, you know, like the older fixed scoops, they're set only one way, so if the wind changes direction, then the scoop will just flap and be all out of control. Whereas you see mine, it'll constantly adjust to the wind, always face dead downwind. So, you know, you got about a good 180-degree circle where it'll just constantly adjust to the wind direction. So they're pretty stable, and, you know, they're a lot more quieter too. Like, you can't hear them when they're in flight at all. And they definitely pump a lot of wind down inside your cabin. And another good thing about mine is they're a little bit smaller than the competitors, so I could actually leave this installed, and I can just like troll around and stuff, and I still have my visibility where I'm able to see in the front of my boat. So there's just a couple good little advantages of these little things, and they do really well. And that's pretty much my video. If you have any questions, you can contact me at nvpower.inc@gmail.com, or you can find me at my website, which is windscoops.com with an S. And I'll gladly answer any questions you have. And I try to, let me get the other side of the wind over here. The wind's really picking up. But I try to keep these priced fairly reasonable. And average price for these are around 50 bucks and even 35 bucks on the used ones that I sell. And when I say used, it's usually my personal ones that I've used. And this one right here, I've flown this one for over 6 months already. And they don't really show anywhere at all. These things hold up great in the weather, and you know, they're just pretty strong little wind scoops. You definitely get your money's worth out of them. So that's pretty much it. Again, if you have any questions, you know where to find me, and thanks for watching.